Joining us, Max. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Tel Aviv, or just at the southern edge of Tel Aviv at the moment.
Okay.
I arrived out here on June the 4th, with no clear sight on when they're likely to return.
No, right. And are you there out on a holiday, on business? What's going on?
A combination of things. I had family out here, came for a couple of weddings as well, one which I made it to, one which I didn't.
Yeah.
Just a combination of things really.
Okay.
But as I said, I really have no idea when likely to return.
No. I mean, obviously it's a difficult situation to navigate. Presumably you don't know from one day to the next what's likely to happen on the streets. Are you worried about, bombs coming in, missiles?
So I think I'd say we go from kind of tense to intense. And that's kind of the journey that everyone is going on when they're here, whether you're Israeli or whether you're, a British citizen or a traveller here. So to give you maybe a little bit of an insight to the kind of process. So there is a very efficient home front command, let's call it app, that you can have on your phone, on your watch, and also the siren. So what happens is they see when there's a preparation for a potential launch. So we get a pre-warning, which can be anything from a few minutes to 10, 15 minutes, even half an hour before. And then you get an actual notification. So that's just to stay near a shelter. Right. And then the next thing is to say, okay, go into a shelter, which is a proper alarm siren, which you hear outside. And also you have on your app and everything else. So everyone gets that. And then you make your way into the shelter, close the door, and lock the door, and wait till you get notified that you can leave. But that experience really varies, because even when you're in that, first of all, there's been something like 420 missiles so far, ballistic missiles that have been launched from Iran. About 90% are intercepted, but even one that gets through is one too many. And of course, we don't really know where it's going to land. So what you hear even from a shelter is the Iron Dome rockets going out, which kind of prepares you for the sounds of possibly something either exploding in the air or near you, which I've had 4 times so far. Wow. Twice last night, actually more than 4 times, but a couple of them were quite close, so the whole room shook. So having said that, the nature of the shelters in properties is extremely secure, I would say. Obviously, direct hit is something to worry about. But there's about 3 million properties in Israel. I think 1.6 million of them were built after 1992, which is when the legislation came in that everyone must have a shelter, either in your property or on your floor. So, and then everyone else has access to other shelters. So there is access to shelter pretty quickly, and they are, pretty secure.
Sure. But it's not what you expected, presumably, when you went there to go to a couple of weddings and do a bit of business.
Not for me personally, certainly not. From Iran, obviously there's always the risk, but and I have been here before when there've been rockets launched from by Hezbollah in the north or from Hamas in the south. But not everyone here is as regular a traveller to Israel as, say, I am. Right. But this has taught us a lot, and maybe I'll come on something about the Foreign Office and their operation here, or lack of operation.
Well, lack of. I mean, it seems I've got a tweet here from somebody who seems to know about these things, that in Cyprus there's several RAF planes that could probably certainly evacuate hundreds of people at a time on just 2 or 3 planes.
Yeah, well, there's multiple logistical challenges, right? But it starts with good planning and good communication. From a Foreign Office perspective, and I've been in touch with them regularly. It took 5 days before we had anything sent out, even to kind of register that you're here. Right. So that was already, pretty poor. It wasn't really comfort to anybody. And then when they did give you, had your details, they then made phone calls, which I've had 4 of them now. And quite frankly, this is where the Foreign Office just embarrasses itself compared to other countries. The plan is absolutely ludicrous. So what they're now telling us is, or suggesting, that you can make your way to the Egyptian border or the Jordanian border to find your way out. So just for people to understand, I don't know if it's someone sitting in the Foreign Office maybe not looking at Google Maps, but this isn't like traveling from Luxembourg to Belgium. No. Okay, this is to get to the Egyptian border. That's a 5-hour, partially dirt track trek through the desert to the south. to an unfriendly country with no protection, no shelters along the way, no support along the way. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Hide in a sand dune if there's a rocket attack. And by the way, it completely goes against local guidance. Local guidance is to stay close to a shelter, and then make your way to a shelter if there's an incident. So if you're actually on a road for 5 hours, or maybe slightly less than that, if you're going to Jordan, if there's a siren, you have nowhere to go.
Right.
So that's already farcical. Plus, there's lots of different people extorting money at great cost to go to these places. You don't know who you're dealing with. They say it's official, but it's not. Right. Going to Jordan, my personal view, and I'm in no formal position to give advice, I'm just saying that there is absolutely no way that I'm making my way to Jordan or to Egypt, which are not particularly friendly countries. What should be happening is real preparation in Cyprus. It's half an hour to an hour away in a flight. It's 200 kilometers by vessel. There are people I got offered today to go on a catamaran. I'm not doing it. Right. There should be official vessels ready to go and air, so that if there's a window of opportunity for flights, to take people in and out of here very, very quickly, if they wish to go. I don't particularly fear for myself. I'm more worried about other people. My parents are here. They were here on a holiday as well. They're almost in their 80. They're almost 80. Right. I can't have them making that kind of trip. So the Foreign Office guidance is absolutely ludicrous, Mike. Yeah. And when you talk David Lammy has been here, but you wouldn't think so.
No. And when you talk to these people from the Foreign Office, I mean, do they give you any reason for their sort of recalcitrance in why they don't seem to want to be more helpful?
I would say that they are very, very lovely, pleasant, polite pen pushers. And they're really apologetic because they're just doing really what they're told to do. Right. And I've asked a number of times for them to escalate it to someone more senior and have a proper conversation. I myself have been collaborating with someone here, an aviation expert over 40 years that has already set up potential planes to pick us up from Cyprus for anyone that wants to exit. A lady called Gabriella Somerville. Yeah. She's been speaking to everyone here, and I speak to her 3 or 4 times a day. Quite frankly, she has a better plan than the Foreign Office, right. But there's just no one to speak to.
I mean, given what David Lammy has said about Israel, do you suspect that this is not a priority for him?
David Lammy, I'd say, quite frankly, absolutely lied to my face. Okay, so he came I did a speech in London, on behalf of the Labour Party in central London not long after October 7th, which I posted online myself, about how he absolutely stands with Israel, and we are with you and we're behind you. And to be honest with you, throughout this war, he's paid nothing but lip service, and to be frank, been an absolute embarrassment to our country. Now that we have British citizens that are caught up in this, the ability of the Foreign Office and himself is quite frankly shambolic. But I do want to say one thing, that this proves one thing without shadow of a doubt, that Israel is absolutely right to go into Iran. These are ballistic missiles. Thank God for the Iron Dome. Millions of people would be harmed, if not killed, by, imagine all 420 ballistic missiles have landed. Not to mention if any of them had a nuclear warhead. Quite frankly, the UK up to now and Europe and the West are just leaving Israel to go it alone. Really hopeful that Israel succeeds, but really not wanting to get their hands dirty. Not realizing that if any one of these rockets is launched on Europe, or maybe even the US, but certainly on Europe, you don't have an Iron Dome. Yeah. And Iran have stated that aim. So this isn't just Israel's war. This is the war of the free world. Against the IRGC. And the people of Iran, I mean, the messages that I get from Iranians as well that are desperate for Israel to succeed. So when people do stuff online and say Iran has the right to defend itself, all I can tell you, it's Israel defending the people of Iran right now, not just the people of Israel. And our government just needs to step up. Yeah. It's got to stop thinking about the few 100,000 voters that they might get domestically that are not particularly friendly to the UK either, and start thinking about right and wrong. And if you don't mind, I'd love to quote Churchill, who famously said that an appeaser is he who feeds the crocodile in the hope they'll be eaten last. Yeah. And the UK government have been feeding the crocodile for way too long.
Indeed. Max, well, listen, let's see what we can get done. We're going to try and put pressure on them as well. So thank you very much indeed for joining us, and good luck with staying safe there. Max Radford, Brits stranded in Israel. There's an awful lot of them. We'll try